USA! USA!
We have an action-packed hour for you 6 p.m. drivers.
Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
Matt Skraby wraps up a full day of live and local sports talk.
And that is the whole problem with aliens. You just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, but usually they turn out to be some kind of big lizard.
The Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome to the Skraby Show for March 6, 2025. Happy to be with you here. Happy to be here with you tonight. I need to slow down my talking because I sometimes get a little bit too far ahead of myself and I end up flubbing the words. But I'm very happy to be here. Very grateful to be here. We'll talk later about some of the thoughts that I've had here in the last couple days. Well, really just today. But we'll talk about that later in the show. We're going to talk about the Padres spring breakout roster. We're going to talk about some of the different moves that the Padres have made so far today. They put they reassigned some players to minor league camp. So we'll talk about that. We have the game today to talk about. And at the end of the show, I want to get into it. The Fyre Festival 2 announcement that apparently the tourism board in Mexico has no idea that this was announced. And the guy who started it, or started the first one, Billy McFarland, is saying that it's definitely moving forward. So I will spend a little bit of time later to talk about that because it's really crazy. It is really nuts. If you've never seen the Fyre Festival documentary from, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, you definitely need to go watch it because it is wild to me and insane to me that this dude is getting another shot to do this. I just don't understand stuff like that. But, let's start with today's game. And that would be a loss for the Padres. Padres have not, in the win department, have not had much success this spring training so far. I'm not going to look into it, A. And B, it doesn't matter if they lose right now. They're just trying to figure out who's going to be on this roster. But what you can look at are the individual performances each and every day. And that's what I've kind of focused on doing, is looking at what happens each day with the Padres. And every single time that I log on to ESPN or MLB.com or something and the Padres are playing, I see that Tirso Ornelas has another hit. And he did do it again today. He went 1 for 3. He's hitting .409 in spring. And he has an on-base percentage of .500 and a slugging of .727. So Tirso is, again, I think it was maybe last week I said Tirso is going to make this team. I need him to make this team because he's been so good in spring. And yes, he needs to continue to do this because you can't just go off of what he's done in the first half of spring, but it looks to be legit. It looks to be real. And he's hitting the ball hard. And they're putting him in there under any circumstances. They put him in yesterday for Fernando to pinch run. And so they're trusting him. They're giving him spots to show that he could do what he needs to do to make the team. And today his single was 110.9 miles an hour off the bat. And when you're hitting balls that hard, you're seeing the ball really well. And we're getting to kind of the point in spring training too, where you're starting to see some of the starting pitchers that you'll see during the regular season. So this part of spring is very important for Tirso, and I think that he's already shown that they could probably give him a shot on the team. But if he continues to hit the ball at 111 miles an hour off the bat, then he's going to have no issues making this team. Eggy Rosario homered on the first pitch of today's game. He's been struggling a little bit. I know he's hitting in the 180 range. Eggy Rosario is hitting 192 so far in spring. But he did have a home run today, and he has played all over the place. And he played shortstop today. You heard Mike Schilt earlier talking to the reporters about Eggy Rosario and how important it is that he's able to play all these different positions. Shortstop's like his natural position. So he's going to have to play everything if he wants to make this team. I will say that the hitting in the last maybe 5 games has not been great for Eggy. And that does take him not out of the running because there's still a lot of time left, but it definitely puts him in a spot where, I don't know that the Padres are looking to put him on the roster on opening day if he's hitting like this. But again, still time to turn things around. Now, Jackson Merrill hit a home run today, and my app said it was 459 feet. And if I know anything about home runs, 459 feet is a long way. And he's seeing the ball well. He went 1 for 3 today. He's hitting 375 in spring. He's got an OPS over what is 875 plus 375 is like 1.15 or something like that. Don't quote my math. I put those together, but his slash line 375, 375, 875. That slugging is crazy for Jackson Merrill. That is some crazy slugging for him. He's at 2 home runs. I know he had a triple the other day, so he's looking good. Everything's looking good. Oscar Gonzalez, another guy who's trying to make the team here. He went 1 for 3. He is hitting 346 in spring training. There was a period of time where Oscar Gonzalez kind of, took his foot off the gas just a little bit. But I think that he's going to continue to put his name in there for this spot in left field or for this bench spot. Jose Iglesias, we know they signed yesterday. He has not played yet. But I like the competition that the Padres are showing that they have in camp here so far. It's good stuff. I mean, you want to have competitions where you're not really sure what you're going to do during the season. That's left field. You get the best out of everyone. When you're saying, hey, there's 3 guys, 4 guys, and 2 of you, I'm just saying 2 of you are going to make the team. That makes people work harder, and that makes people think about their game a little bit more, because if you want to make the team, you're going to have to be really good. And from what I've seen from Tirso defensively, not bad. Eggy, he's had his moments. He's not really an outfielder, but he's played the outfield well. Another player that we haven't talked about lately, thought maybe it was an early DH type of move for the Padres. Gavin Sheets has not had a good spring. He went 0 for 4 today. Mike Brasso also not having a good spring, but there are some good competitions with the Padres right now. And even if they are 3-10 on the spring, it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to keep telling myself that because everybody else tells me that. All right. That is what happened today in today's game. 8-2 Rangers win. Oh, I should mention Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease did make another start today, went 3 innings, gave up 2 runs, struck out 3, gave up a home run, but he was able to settle down and get back into it. So not like an amazing start for Dylan Cease, but not a terrible start by Dylan Cease at all. Then Jeremiah Estrada made an appearance today. He went 1 inning and he gave up nothing. He looked really good today. Now, Ron Marinaccio is a player that I thought maybe could put himself in the bullpen this year, and he might still. But today he struggled. In spring, he struggled. He went 2/3 of an inning. He gave up 3 runs and 4 hits. So it's not working for him right now. But you're seeing the team come together just a little bit, and I like to see where it's headed. We're going in the right direction, and Jose Iglesias is definitely someone who's going to help this team. It's not even going to be a question defensively. I want to see if Jose Iglesias is able to hit 337 like he did last year with the Mets. I want to see what he can do with the bat. But hitting 337 in, I think, 85 games last year in the regular season, that's nothing to sneeze about. And I like to sneeze during this show. That was a bad joke. The other thing I wanted to talk about before we headed to break was some of the players that were reassigned to minor league camp. They're not really players that we're familiar with. Francis Pena went down. Ethan Salas and Leo DeVries also were reassigned. And that was expected. It's not like they're saying these guys are bad. They're just not ready. They're not ready. They showed in spring. They showed that they could handle themselves. Ethan Salas opened eyes with the way he was seeing the ball and the way he was taking pitches that were close. Leo DeVries made a couple good plays defensively. He also showed off with the bat too. So you can kind of see the development for those guys is there, and the development is going in the right direction. I personally don't know, or I didn't think that they were going to be on the roster this year. I don't even think they're going to be on the roster at any point this year. And then Mad Friars tweeted this out. Worth noting that Bradley Rodriguez was the Padres' only top prospect non-roster invitee not sent out to minor league camp this morning. He sat down all 9 batters he's faced this spring with 3 strikeouts. Bradley Rodriguez is a guy Sam and I talked about last week as someone who could be a dark horse for the Padres bullpen. But that is an interesting note from Mad Friars, that he is the only top prospect non-roster invitee not sent to minor league camp this morning. Now, can it happen eventually? Yes. But I think that's a good sign for Bradley Rodriguez. I like the name Bradley, too. That's a good name, Bradley. But Mad Friars pointing out that for us. The spring breakout roster. Now, I thought the spring breakout last year was going to be lame. I did. I thought they were making too big of a deal out of it. But I actually really, really, really love the spring breakout now. I get to see all the different prospects and names that I hear throughout the year. I get to see them on all their different teams, get to kind of put a face to a name. And there's going to be a ton of Padres. Obviously, there's a whole team, but the Padres that they chose were Leo DeVries, Ethan Salas. Those guys are the representatives from the top 100 list. And then you got guys like Cash Mayfield, the Padres' number 3 prospect and their first round pick last year. He is set to appear for San Diego. And then Boston Bateman, the number 5 prospect, is going to join Cash Mayfield. He's the second best pitching prospect in the Padres system. But basically, here are the names that we've heard that are going to be on the spring breakout roster. And Bradley Rodriguez is one of those guys. He's the number 14 for the Padres. But you have Cash Mayfield, you have Bradley Rodriguez, Jagger Haynes. These are some of the names that I've heard. And then for catchers, you got Ethan Salas. Infielders, you got Leo DeVries. You got Cobb Hightower. I like that name. And then in the outfield, you have, Kai Roberts, Tyler Robertson, and then Kavaris Tears. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's the number 7 prospect for the Padres in their organization. Leo DeVries is number 1, if you were wondering. Cobb Hightower, the number 6 prospect. I'm looking forward to this. I want to see these guys in action. And it's going to, the Padres are going to play the A's on March 14th at 2:40 p.m. Pacific at the Peoria Sports Complex. I shouldn't say this, but I think we're going to be airing that. Probably shouldn't have said that, honestly. But I think we are. I will confirm that, though, because I don't want to say anything and lead people astray. Definitely don't want to lead anyone astray. All right. I'm Matt Skraby. This is the Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. When we get back, I think it's funny that some people tell me to do one thing or tell me something and then do the other. They tell me something and then they do what they tell me not to do. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I am stumbling all over my words. So what I'm going to do is go to break and then I will explain on the other side what I am talking about. You're listening to the Skraby Show on 97.3 The Fan.
Here's how easy it is to get the yard you deserve.
There's something that I have been meaning to do for the fans, the Scrabinators. I have been meaning to put on the YouTube commercial break entertainment, but I keep forgetting to do it. So I'm saying it out loud right now so that I force myself to do it, because I like to, call myself out when I'm forgetting things over and over and over again because I wanted to do something. But anyway, if you are on the chat, thank you very much, chat and Scrabinators. If you want to get on with these Scrabinators, you can just go to YouTube and search The Skraby Show or 97.3 The Fan. Also, Twitch, 97.3 The Fan. Facebook, 97.3 The Fan. And then my Twitter, at Matt Skraby, MattsKra, B as in boy, Y. All right. So, before break, I said there's something funny that people tell me not to do, but then they do it. And here's what it is. I think it's funny that people tell me all the time, spring training doesn't matter. But then I see those same people commenting on what happened in the spring training game. I'm going to say, these games do tell us things and they do matter. But I was I was on Twitter earlier today, and I keep in my mind all the time, think, hey, spring training doesn't matter. But I feel like it somewhat does. And then I'll go online and I'll see like reporters who are just putting up all the different stats about someone from spring training and how great this guy is hitting 600 and he's has an OPS of 1.800. But that same person will write an article saying, well, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. So I'm very confused. I keep getting confused about this whole thing. Again, I've told everybody I'm going to pretend like these games actually mean something, because they do for certain guys. I mean, the Manny Machados of the world, they might mean something to get them, used to, get them back into baseball playing mode. But I don't think that, I do think it's important to watch guys like Eggy Rosario and Tirso Ornelas, and these games are very important for those guys. So I'm really looking at these tweets and bookmarking them. I didn't want to say anything mean. That's why it took me so long to spit that out. But I'm looking at these tweets and I'm going to bookmark them, and I'm going to use them one day down the line. Nate said the record doesn't matter. The work and effort does. Exactly. Brandon said the games don't matter for Tatis, Manny Jackson, etc. The games matter for Waldron, Vasquez, Tirso, Eggy. I am with you there, because that is true. Let's see. That's all of it so far with the chat. If you have any thoughts, please let me know on the chat about spring training games. Do they mean anything? Do you think they mean anything? I think they mean something. And what we learned today in spring training, transitioning to another topic, the Dodgers aren't so sure about Shohei Ohtani pitching in May. That was the plan originally. Shohei Ohtani's been throwing for a couple months now. I mean, more than a couple months. And he's coming off of Tommy John surgery. He did not pitch at all for the Dodgers last year, as we know. But they were hoping that he would be back in time for May. And Dave Roberts met with the media today, and he is trying his best to paint this picture as non-emergency like as possible. But let's all listen to Dave Roberts and form our own opinion.
As the game has intensified his work playing in games, it was sort of trying to give him a little respite from the rehab and to slow him down. Like, we've never really put a timer on anything, but the intensity of his work, the at-bats and stuff, so we just felt that he's still playing catch. So his arm is still moving, but we just felt that to kind of intensify the bullpens alongside of the intensity of the games wasn't smart. So we just wanted to kind of slow play. But again, he's still moving his arm, playing catch as he did today. It does make sense as he's kind of really preparing on the offensive side, and given his surgery and Also appreciating the fact that he had surgery on his left shoulder too this offseason. So we're not trying to, so it's very kind of nuanced with him. And so just trying to make sure that we don't want to push something we don't need to. I just feel, and we all feel, that just trying to make it a broad time to return, like we just don't know. And so I think that when he's ready, when the process, the progression as it's going on, we'll know. But I don't want to put any kind of expectation on you guys or Shohei.
Well, that tells me something. And when you say, oh, we don't want to put any time frame on it, tells me you don't really know. Tells me that there's more questions than anything. And I know that they're not going to say he's going to return on May 19th. But if they say, hey, yeah, we're looking at a return at the end of May, middle of May, they're not even saying that anymore. And Ohtani has not thrown a bullpen session since February 25th. And as you heard Dave Roberts said, he is still playing catch and everything, but he's not expected to face hitters until the Dodgers return from Japan, where they open the regular season March 18th. I think this is not a huge deal, but I think this is a deal that we need to pay attention to. I brought this up over the offseason, and I was kind of called crazy for it, but all of these injuries that Shohei has, the Tommy John surgery that he had, also the shoulder injury that he sustained during the World Series last year, he had surgery for it in the offseason. These aren't little things. And Shohei Ohtani is not like a young guy. Now, if there's anyone who could just go ahead and do this and it would be fine, he'll be okay, it's probably Shohei Ohtani, because he's the closest thing to a unicorn that we have here in baseball. But he was born in 94, so he'll be 31 if my math is correct on July 5th. And yes, that's not old at all, but I don't really think, I mean, when they signed Shohei Ohtani to that massive $700 million deal, I think they paid him, number one, to win a World Series, so mission accomplished. Number two, I think they paid him to be a pitcher as well. They weren't just paying for him to be a DH for his entire 10 years. And, I mean, he's a good pitcher too, but these injuries are going to catch up at some point. And Dave Roberts was trying to paint a great picture, but I don't think that it's as rosy as he was painting it there. I mean, if he hasn't thrown a bullpen since February 25th, and he's not expected to face hitters until after March 19th, I don't know that we're going to see him before June or July. If we see him before June or July. And the reason I say that Dave Roberts is trying to paint a rosy picture when it might not be that rosy is because he had already said once, we expect him back in May. It would be feasible is the word that he used. And that could still be the case, but as we know, it's not that easy to get a guy up and ready to go for a starting role. It's just not that easy. And they were never going to have him here in spring training pitching, but at the same time, they were at least thinking about him as a part of the rotation at some point this year, and that can still happen. It can, but if he doesn't become a part of rotation, that is a good thing for the Padres and for the National League West, because the rotation is already good. The Dodgers have so many different options with the starting rotation. They're not going to miss a beat, but it would be a major blow if they weren't able to have Shohei Ohtani pitch at all this year. Blue Meanie said they don't need 10 pitchers. Yeah. Brandon says, yeah, but now they could say, based on Soto's contract, that the $700 million doesn't have to include pitching. I guess you're right there, but we all know that it did include pitching. It doesn't seem like anybody really thinks this is as big of a deal as I do. Doesn't seem like people think that, but hey, I'm going to continue to monitor this for everyone, okay? I'm going to continue to monitor everyone. Reading the chat. That's why I'm so slow. I will stop reading the chat for now. I will go to break, and when we get back, we have this Fyre Festival talk We also have some renderings in Portland for a Major League Baseball team. So the renderings are going to be up next on the Skraby Show on 97.3 The Fan. Final segment here on the Skraby Show for Thursday. Got another one tomorrow. Chris and I will be back tomorrow. The station will be airing the Padres spring training game tomorrow against the Brewers. So that'll start, the coverage starts at noon, and then we are going to be taking over. Chris and I will be taking over after that game, kind of similar to what happened today. And I've been trying to figure out all day, like, why this day has felt weird. Obviously, I know the answer, but another answer is, like, I have been trying to figure out why everything's off all the time, or at least today. And so I need to focus. My ADD is just like out of control today. It is out of control. Some days I have it like this. Some days I'm better than other days, but today it's out of control. And so I'm trying to control it. Like, I don't think people understand how my brain goes to shiny object easily. Like, if there's some sort of flash, I'll look over there and I'll forget everything that I was about to say. So I'm trying to do better at that, because it's, my brain is not the greatest place sometimes, but it is a fun place. It is a fun place. And I just got to say, we're going to talk about this in a second at the end of the show. I just got to say, I feel very lucky and grateful for all the Skrabinators and all of the people that support this station and support our shows, because that is very important to everyone. It is. It's important to everyone here at the station, but I'll save that for just a little bit. Jocelyn says, I always have too many tabs open. Know what I mean? Yes, I absolutely know what you mean. Let me go look at my tabs right now. And let me see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 tabs open. The funniest one being me Googling the Great One. And it came up with Jackie Gleason. But yeah, I have too many tabs open all the time in my head and on my computer as well. Skraby therapy, Gonzo says. I do. You know what? During the season, we're going to have to do some more Skraby therapy. Right now, though, let's talk about the Fyre Festival. We've talked about everything else, but let's talk about the Fyre Festival Part 2. Because if you don't know anything about the Fyre Festival Part 1, you are missing out. There's a documentary about it on Hulu and on Netflix. Make sure you go and watch those documentaries. They're very interesting. They're very good. And when I say Fyre Festival, it's spelled Fyre. Well, basically, what happened with the first one, it was in 2017, and the leader of this whole thing, Billy McFarland, was putting together this extravagant, lavish festival on some island in the Caribbean, I believe. And he was selling bungalows and meal packages and all of these crazy things. And people were buying all of these things. And they were paying lots of money for all of these things, like $10,000 for a bungalow or something, a bungalow for $5. And when people started showing up, they realized real quick that this Fyre Festival was just one big scam, because all of the bungalows and all of those things were actually just, not expired, but FEMA tents that aren't used anymore. So people showed up, thought they were going to have this like luxurious bungalow, and they show up to cots and a FEMA tent. And they also, their food was maybe these terrible looking sandwiches, like just bread, lettuce, and tomato, and maybe like one slice of meat. That's what they got. So this whole thing went down fantastically in a bad way. And Ja Rule was a part of it. But Billy McFarland was the one who ended up going to prison for pulling a fast one on everyone. But he is actually out of prison now, and he's saying that he thinks, or he's going to start Fyre Festival number 2. Here's Billy McFarland.
Good evening, everybody. I have a really important Fyre update. Last week, I did an interview in the Today Show, and since then, the story has been shared, retold, twisted, and covered by journalists from all over the world. I figured it would be best to hear directly from me what's actually happening. First, Fyre 2 is real. Second, we have incredible partners leading the festival. They're in charge of all the logistics, productions, and operations. This includes an incredible production team in Mexico who does not F around. There is no way they would ever take on a fake festival. 3, we have accommodations. Naturally, this is a huge point of emphasis given the issues surrounding Fyre 1. Our accommodations include contracts for the number of villas, yachts, and hotels.
All right, I don't want to give him any more attention because all of this is seeming like it is one big scam. Once again, I can't even believe that this guy is trying to do this again, especially after how bad everything went the first time. But here's the thing, is like he's saying that it's happening, but Cancun, Mexico, or the Isla Mujeres in Mexico, they don't have any knowledge of this event. So people have reached out to the tourism officials and they said, quote, "We have no knowledge of this event nor contact with any person or company about it. For us, this is an event that does not exist." Now, I guess Antonio Brown, yes, formerly of the Steelers and Bucks and I think Raiders, he played for the Raiders too. He is supposedly going to be performing at this whole thing. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to believe anything that this guy says because he's a scam artist. This is what scammers do. But are we in this place now where we just are we in this place now where people who do these things go to prison and then come out? Like, why are we blindly following these people? Because people are signing up for this and paying for this. I don't understand how you could see the first Fyre Festival and want anything to do with this. And I see this on the chat, which is a really good point. He says, first, Fyre 2 is real. Can you really have Fyre 2 if you didn't have Fyre 1? FYRE? It's just bad. I don't really understand it. I don't know. And number one, he was like in his Instagram video, he was walking down some sort of boardwalk and talking into his phone. Not a fan of that either. But please, people, don't fall into this trap. Please don't fall into this trap. It's just not smart. I know it's kind of like the Hawk Tua coin, where the Hawk Tua coin, people thought, oh, hey, this is going to be a good thing to invest in. And then people invested their entire life savings into the Hawk Tua coin, and then they lost all their money. Do I feel bad for those people? Yes. But do I actually feel bad for those people? Not really. That was a choice that you made. Who's investing in Hawk Tua coins? But Joseph's saying if they buy tickets, that's on them. I kind of agree with that, but why is anyone giving this guy the time of day? Like, why is he being interviewed for the Today Show? Why is he being interviewed by all these different Vanity Fair magazines? Like, why? I don't understand. It goes back to the guy who tried to rip the ball out of Mookie Betts' glove in the World Series. Like, right after that, he went across the street to a bar after he got kicked out of the stadium, and he was being interviewed by The Athletic. And so his fame rose. I don't know why the first thought is, hey, I need to go out and I need to interview that guy, because you know what? That guy is going to get me clicks. But really, I think that we shouldn't be encouraging all of this. And even more recently, and now I'm kind of going off of my notes. I'm going off of my notes and getting to places I didn't think I was going to go. But then you got like Casey Anthony trying to make a comeback, giving legal advice. I don't understand why we're doing this. I don't understand as a society why we give people that do bad things, why we give them so much attention. I don't get it. It's something I think about quite often. Honestly, is guys like Billy McFarland of the Fyre Festival, people like Casey Anthony. Oh, even the We were talking about her earlier. Bad Baby. She was the Cash Me Outside girl. I didn't know that, but she was on Dr. Phil. That's how she started. She was on Dr. Phil because she was such a terrible kid that her mom took her to Dr. Phil, and then she ends up becoming this huge rapper and millionaire. But I like, do I need to do something? Do I need to do something crazy to get attention? Is that what needs to happen? I don't know. It bothers me. And I'm speaking from the heart now, because there are a lot of people that I know that work very hard and barely get by, myself included. But there are people who scam people, do bad things to people, and get away with it, and people celebrate them. Just don't understand it. Gonzo says, shave the beard. I've been thinking about shaving the beard. I don't know yet. It would be so weird. It would be so weird if I shaved my beard. Dominic says, let's not lump this dude in with Casey Anthony, though. Stealing from rich trust fund babies, way different than being a kid killer. Yeah, I understand that as well. No, you're right. I probably shouldn't have put them together. But what I was trying to say is, like, we are now focusing on these people that have questionable pasts, and we're making them rich. Emma Key says, rock the mustache. Nah, I don't need to rock the mustache. It would look bad. It would definitely look bad. So that's my little Fyre Festival rant that I have. Renderings. We have renderings, people. And it's of a Portland diamond project. And they're unveiling their renderings of a baseball stadium that they would like to build in Portland. Now, I've asked Tony before, is Portland a good baseball city? And he said, absolutely, it's a great baseball city. Portland's an amazing baseball city. But Portland is putting this whole thing up, and it is, a decent looking stadium, I guess. I don't know that you can do a stadium outdoor. That's what they have. And it's an outdoor stadium in Portland. Now, does it rain a lot during the summer? I actually couldn't tell you. But I know that it rains enough. And I think that if there is a team headed to Portland, I think that would be kind of awesome. But at the same time, I don't know that the team's going to go to Portland. I think the team is going to a new team is going to end up going to Nashville. That's where they really, really, really want things to be, is in Nashville. They think that's a big market that's untapped, and they would like to get in there. Portland, probably not. I mean, definitely not a big market. If you're already having trouble too, this just hit me, people. If you're already having trouble too with, teams spending in smaller markets, then why are you going to put a team in Portland? Because that will just, I guess, maybe further that thought of teams in small markets don't spend. Brandon said, quote from an Oregon friend, we see kind of bleep holes around here when it comes to land in pro sports. Oh, do we know something about that in here in San Diego? I think we do. Just a little bit.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
All right, we're going to get, somewhat serious here. And my Daily Gripe starts like this. When people celebrate good people having bad stuff happen to them. Today, has been tough. This business has been tough, and this business can be ruthless. Never like to see anything like this happen, but I think perspective is huge for me. Perspective is something that I learned after I stopped drinking, which was over 8 years ago. And perspective is one of the things that I need in my life to keep going on the right path. And so perspective now, I'm really lucky to be doing what I'm doing, and I'm really lucky to have been here for so long. I started radio over 10 years ago, quit my job, work for free, put all the eggs in the basket. It ended up working out. And as I was coming up through radio, I never really understood, the strides that I was making. I don't really know that I was understanding how much I was actually accomplishing. And so sometimes you just need to kind of take a step back and look at things and realize that, hey, maybe I'm in a really good place. And so I do try to do that every day. I do try on the way into work. Everybody has those days where they don't want to go to work. It's a fact. But I have those days, and I think, you know what? If you're going to tell this guy from 11 years ago that you were bummed that you're going to go to work to talk on the radio and be a part of a radio show, you would have punched future me in the face. And so I have to have that perspective. And I'm so lucky to have the Skrabinators too. I really am blown away sometimes at the Skrabinators and how far they are willing to go to help me, to help other Skrabinators, and to help this station. So we appreciate all of you. And I hope that doesn't come off as hollow, because it's not. We appreciate, you are the people that make this happen. And without you, we wouldn't be able to do it. So I am trying real hard to remember every single day that we're all lucky to be doing what we're doing. Gonzo says 5 years ago doing post game, right? Was it 5 years ago? It was maybe 4 years ago. It was for the 2021 season. Anyway, there's some stuff on the chat that I can't mention, but please don't celebrate when good people have bad things happen to them. And please, at least for 1 second tonight, maybe for 1 second tonight, just think, hey, there are worse things going on in this world. Because when I was a drunk, it was always about me. I was that selfish alcoholic that wasn't able to look past anything. That was only this is a me problem. Everybody hates me. It's not true. It's not true. And I've realized over the years all of that. And perspective is good. And the Skrabinators remind me all the time. They remind me all the time that there are great people out there. So there you go. Have a great night, everyone. I was going to say something else, but that's it. I'll be back tomorrow. Talk to you then.